In the 1960s, a team of engineers made a BET that should have destroyed their company. They set out to build an airplane twice the size of anything that had ever flown. No factory on Earth was big enough to assemble it. No airport was certain it could handle it. And many of the people building it quietly believed it would be obsolete before it ever turned a profit. They were wrong about almost everything except the part that mattered. You already know what it looks like. That long body, that strange bump near the nose, that shape sitting on the tarmac like it owns the sky. This is the Boeing 747. And out of every aircraft ever built, tens of thousands of designs across more than a century of flight, this is the one the world calls iconic. But why this one? Why not something faster or newer or more advanced? The answer is not what you would expect. And by the end, I think it will change the way you see this airplane forever. Quick question before we go further. Have you ever actually flown on a Boeing 747? Keep that memory in mind because we are going to come back to it. Let us start with the gamble. In 1966, Boeing was not a company with money to spare. Building the 747 would cost around $1 billion, the equivalent of several billion today. And that was more than the entire company was worth at the time. If the plane failed, Boeing failed with it. There was no backup plan, and the scale of the thing was almost absurd. The finished 747 would contain roughly 6 million individual parts. It required a factory so enormous that Boeing had to build one from scratch in Everett, Washington. A building so vast it remains the largest in the world by volume to this day. The team racing to make it real started calling themselves the Incredibles, because the deadlines they were given were frankly impossible. Here's the part that's hard to believe. From the first concept to the first flight took just 28 months. Less than 2.5 years to design, build, and fly the biggest passenger airplane in history. Modern aircraft with computers and decades of accumulated knowledge often take longer than that for far simpler machines. They were building the future on a deadline with slide rules and sheer nerve, and somehow they pulled it off. But the most famous part of this airplane, the thing that makes a 747 instantly a 747, almost didn't exist at all. That hump, that signature curve near the front. Most people assume it was designed to give passengers a fancy upstairs lounge. It wasn't. The truth is stranger. Boeing's chief engineer, Joe Sutter, originally wanted a true double-decker, 2 full passenger floors running the length of the plane. But there was a problem nobody could solve. Evacuation requirements meant everyone on board had to be able to get out fast. And with 2 full decks and limited exits, that was simply impossible. So, the second deck was cut down to a short stub near the nose. And there was a second reason for that shape. Boeing genuinely believed supersonic jets would soon make planes like the 747 obsolete. So they designed it to become a cargo hauler, lifting the cockpit up onto that little hump so the entire nose could swing open and swallow freight. In other words, the most recognizable silhouette in the history of flight was an accident. A compromise born from a safety rule and a prediction that turned out to be completely wrong. If you're enjoying this so far, take a second to subscribe and hit like. It genuinely helps more people discover these stories, and there's a lot more ahead. Because that accidental shape was only the beginning of why this airplane refused to be forgotten. So we have a plane that almost bankrupted its maker, built in record time, wearing a silhouette that was basically a happy accident. That alone might earn it a place in the history books, but it would not make it a legend. To understand why the 747 became the icon, you have to look at what it could actually do. And that story starts with raw speed. Here is something that sounds impossible. A design from the 1960s is still the fastest subsonic passenger jet in the sky today. Modern airliners like the 787 and the Airbus A350 beat the 747 on fuel efficiency and technology, but none of them cruise faster. The 747 settles in at around Mach 0.85, roughly 560 miles per hour at altitude. Most modern jets cruise a touch slower. That gap sounds tiny. Across an ocean, it is not. And on one night in February 2020, the world got a jaw-dropping demonstration of it. A British Airways 747 left New York heading for London, and out over the Atlantic it caught a monster jet stream, winds turbocharged by a storm named Ciara, gusting past 200 miles per hour. The plane hit a ground speed of around 825 miles per hour and touched down at Heathrow in just 4 hours and 56 minutes. That shattered the record for a subsonic crossing, landing the jet nearly 90 minutes ahead of schedule. For a moment, a 50-year-old design was nipping at the heels of the Concorde. Now, quick gut check. Before I told you that number, what would you have guessed was the fastest commercial flying you could do without going supersonic? Most people assume it would be the newest, most expensive jet on the market. Instead, it is the old queen, riding the wind like she was built for it. Drop your guess in the comments. I am curious how close anyone gets. But speed is just one kind of capability. The truly staggering thing about the 747 is what it could do when everything was on the line. Picture Ethiopia in May 1991. The government is collapsing, civil war is closing in, and thousands of Ethiopian Jews are in danger. Israel launches a secret rescue called Operation Solomon. The window is brutal, about 36 hours to get everyone out. And in that window, they airlifted more than 14,000 people to safety. One aircraft made history that night. Crews stripped an El Al 747 of nearly all its seats, turning the cabin into one vast open floor. Then they started loading people. By the time the doors closed, that single jet was carrying around 1,088 people, more than double what a 747 was ever designed to hold. It set a world record for the most people ever flown on one aircraft, and that record still stands today. And here's the detail that gives me chills every time. That number actually went up during the flight because 2 babies were born in the air before the plane landed. People stepped onto that aircraft fleeing for their lives and stepped off as brand new families. That's not a statistic. That's the 747 doing something no other machine on Earth could have done in that moment. If a story like that is the reason you love aviation history, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It's a small thing, but it genuinely helps these stories reach more people, and we've still got the most surprising chapter ahead. Because the 747 didn't just save lives down here, it also helped us reach for space. For 3 decades, NASA needed a way to move space shuttles across the country, from landing sites back to the launch pad in Florida. Their solution was almost absurd in its ambition. They took 2 747s, stripped out the interiors, reinforced the structure, and added extra tail fins for stability. Then they bolted a space shuttle weighing nearly 80 tons right on top of the fuselage. Let that image sit for a second. A commercial airliner, the same basic machine that carried tourists to Hawaii, flying across America with a spacecraft riding piggyback. Those modified jumbos, called shuttle carrier aircraft, flew shuttle after shuttle this way, including the final ferry flight in 2012 when the shuttle Endeavour was carried to Los Angeles to retire in a museum. One American icon literally carrying another on its back. Ask yourself, what other passenger plane has ever done anything close to that? The honest answer is none. Speed records, daring rescues, spacecraft taxi service? By now, a pattern is forming. Whenever the impossible needed doing, the 747 kept showing up. But none of that, not the speed, not the records, not the shuttles, is the real reason it became the most iconic airplane ever built. That reason is something much harder to measure, and it's where we're headed next. So what is it? If it's not the speed, the records, or the rescues, what actually makes the 747 the most iconic airplane ever built? The answer is that it changed who got to fly at all. Before the 777, crossing an ocean by air was a luxury for the wealthy. Then this enormous machine arrived in 1970 with Pan Am, carrying more than twice the passengers of the jets before it. More seats meant cheaper seats. Suddenly, a working family could afford a flight that used to belong only to the rich. The 747 didn't just shrink the world. It handed the world to everyone. That's why people started calling it the Queen of the Skies, and the name stuck. Think about what that actually meant in human terms. For more than 50 years, this airplane reunited families separated by oceans. It carried people toward new lives in countries they had only dreamed of. It flew students to college and soldiers home. It even served as Air Force One, carrying American presidents across the globe. Its silhouette became so familiar that kids who had never set foot on a plane could draw it from memory. Here's a question worth sitting with. How many machines can you name that millions of people feel genuine affection for? Not respect. Affection. The 747 is one of the very few. Pilots talk about flying it like it was the honor of their careers. Passengers describe the upper deck decades later like they are describing a first kiss. Boeing built 1,574 of them before production finally ended in 2023, when the last one rolled out of that same enormous factory in Everett. Over half a century, the same basic design carried generations of humanity through the sky, and now the long goodbye is underway. Airline after airline has retired its passenger 747s, including British Airways, KLM, Qantas, Delta, and United. The jet that once defined long-haul travel has been quietly replaced by smaller, more efficient twin-engine airplanes. Today, fewer than a handful of airlines still fly the Queen with passengers aboard. Most of the 300-plus still working are freighters now, hauling cargo through the night. Something hard to name is slipping away with them. The 747 was not the most efficient plane, and it is not the newest. But it had presence. It had a kind of majesty that modern aircraft, for all their cleverness, struggle to match. When a 747 sat on the tarmac, people stopped and looked up. That's the real reason it's the most iconic airplane ever built. Not because of any single number, but because for 2 generations, it was the machine that carried us to reunions, to new beginnings, to the edge of space and back. It turned the impossible into the ordinary and made the whole world feel a little smaller and a lot closer. So now I'll turn it over to you. If you ever flew on a 747, tell me about it in the comments. Where were you going, and do you remember the moment you stepped on board? And if you never got the chance, tell me which part of this story surprised you the most. The Queen may be heading for her final landing, but as long as people keep telling these stories, she never really leaves the sky.